And now to the economy, where there is fresh evidence that inflation remains stubbornly high. You see it every day. Despite a drop in gas prices, inflation rose 8.3% in August compared to just a year ago. Now, that is down from 8.5% in July, but still near a 40-year high. The news sent stocks to a tailspin, the Dow plunging about 1,200 points. Its worst loss in 2 years. Business reporter Alexis Christoforous joins me now for more on all of this. Alexis, let's start with this. President Biden held an event at the White House yesterday to sort of celebrate the inflation news. But that's sort of really hard to do when a lot of Americans are still looking at interest rates rising. They can't pay their credit card bills, things of that nature. Is slightly tone deaf, I thought.
I think you're onto something there, Phil, because I know that President Biden's trying to put a positive spin on this inflation picture, especially with midterm elections right around the corner. And we know that inflation and the economy is priority number one for many voters. But I think it'd be hard-pressed to find Americans who are cheering 8.3% inflation. True, we did have a dramatic drop in gasoline prices, down 10.6% from in June when we were above $5 a gallon. Still, though, we are paying more for things like rent, groceries, healthcare, electricity. So I think you're right when you say it seemed a little tone-deaf yesterday.
Yeah, and not to take anything away from the legislation, right? The legislation is going to help a lot of people. It's just not immediately like Americans feel like they need the help right now, specifically at the grocery store, right? And when you go into the grocery store, what are we paying more for?
Just about everything, no matter what aisle you go down. So big picture, overall food prices up 11.4% year over year. And we just pulled a few items just to give you an example. So eggs up nearly 40% in just the past 12 months. Milk up 17%. Bread 16.2%. We're paying more for chicken. That's up more than 16.5%. Wow. Meat as well. Fruits and vegetables nearly 9.5% more. So hard to get relief. And a lot of Americans have to make some tough choices at the grocery store.
Well, that's the thing. These are what you have up on the screen right now. These are the necessities, especially for parents to be feeding their kids.
Exactly.
Right? So what kind of decisions are people making because of this?
We're starting to see how habits at the grocery store are starting to change. So those pre-made meals, pre-cut veggies to sort of cut corners and make mealtime a little easier. Folks are not buying as many. We also saw the sale of frozen entrees falling about 11%. Things like cookies, you might say that's a good thing. Some of those more sugary treats, those things are down. Refrigerated juices, which we know can be expensive, right? They're down about 8%. Also, places like Applebee's and IHOP now say they're seeing an uptick in higher income customers. And Tyson, we know the big poultry company, said they're seeing a rise in demand for chicken as people buy less expensive steaks.
Well, sugary drinks and cookies coming down, that's good the way I eat, but it's not good in general because you want the fresh fruit and food being affordable. Finally, are there signs inflation has peaked? And if so, what happens to the Federal Reserve? Because we've seen them continuously increase interest rates. Is that going to happen again?
We're actually having another Federal Reserve interest rate meeting next Wednesday. The expectation is there that this report does not move them off the track of being very aggressive with raising rates. We're probably in for our third straight interest rate hike of 0.75% next Wednesday, which means financing things like a home, a car, your credit card debt will get more expensive. As for whether or not inflation has peaked, we were hopeful this report would show that. But you know what, Phil? We've got a very strong labor market right now, continuing to put pressure on wages. As long as we have those two things, I think the short answer is it probably hasn't peaked yet.
Right, and we don't like things like that. Good, bad, yes, no, coming down now. This is a gray area, and it takes time, right?
This is a little more complicated, for sure.
Absolutely. Alexis, thanks so much. Yeah. Always good to see you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.